there are no silos. They are all the time collaborating with the team members, with the classmates, not just their class. They also have collaborative projects with other schools. They take up initiatives where they are doing social causes. So they are, in true sense, global learners. And through the entire journey, you will see that how supportive, how inspiring the entire system is preparing children. Now, a little about Cambridge, how this is the world's leading provider of education, starting from age 3, that is from early years, all the way up to A levels, which is our grade 12. The community, there are close to 10,000 schools across the globe with 160 nations covering it. And Cambridge is one of the oldest existing curriculum. And you will see that their resources, the material, and anything, any of the teaching material, there is so much of research which has gone into it. And that comes from a whole repository, the entire research team, which sits, and there is an upgrade in the syllabus, upgrade in the portions, which happens on yearly basis. It cannot be something, if a teacher has been in the system, let's imagine when I said that I've been associated with Cambridge for nearly 18, 19 years. It's not that what I started teaching in year 1 is exactly the same curriculum till the end of the 18th or the 19th year. No, every year it is revised, and hence, as a teacher, we are required to go back and revisit the curriculum. And so does the teacher training takes place. This is something which will make you understand what Cambridge curriculum is, what Cambridge pathway is. It's a clear path for educational success right from early years all the way to A levels. Cambridge early years, which is meant for ages 3 plus, NEP has come now into force, but most of the teaching pedagogies, or the whole philosophies which is coming in NEP, you see that Cambridge has already been doing it for past many years. And that's why 3+ years is required at early years 1. Early years 1 is equivalent to nursery, and 6 is what we are saying at grade 1, where purely it is a play-based program with a holistic curriculum. There's a lot of engaging resources. There's a support for measurement, which the early years coordinator, Ms. Maria, will take you through in detail. I'll take you through the whole band. Cambridge primary years, which is from grades 1 to 4. Cambridge lower secondary, that's grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, lower secondary. Upper secondary is the most popular certificate program, which you definitely have heard, is the IGCSE. Okay, the term IGCSE is the certificate which the child gets out of the 2-year program of 9th and 10th standard. And then comes the most advanced level, which is Cambridge Advanced, AS and A level, equivalent to grades 11 and 12. Now, a lot of times, parents ask us, will my child be able to write any of the competitive exams? Yes, I know it's a very, very popular, frequently asked question. The answer is 100% yes. We have, and when today our vice principal takes you through the journey of how a high school, the upper secondary works, the advanced AS and A level curriculum is, you will be able to see that our children are placed in colleges, not only India, but colleges abroad as well. So it's a seamless transition at every phase, because of the depth in the curriculum. There's a spiral in learning which children see across the band that you can see there. And while yes, what you will see from any Cambridge student is that they are confident, responsible, reflective, innovative, and engaged through various techniques of our teaching all through the journey, right? And because ultimately, I want to say that it's the Cambridge curriculum is not about uh, filling the pail, but rather igniting that curiosity in those little minds. And as I see today, the house is predominantly filled with early years parents, but we will take you through the journey all the way up to AS and A level. Right now, to begin with, I'm going to hand over and I'm going to invite our seed coordinator, Miss Vandana, who actually takes care of all our student enrichment and the educators development program. She also is a Cambridge qualified program leader who runs the professional development qualification. We are a professional development qualification um, from Cambridge. We are a center for that, and she heads the team for that. So, yes, over to Vandana now.
Good morning, dear parents. So I'm Vandana Sharma, Student Enrichment and Educators Development Coordinator. And today I'm actually excited to take you through how we nurture our students, not academic excellence, but also the overall development of the students through meaningful activities and engaging activities as well. So if you see at our school, everything is guided by key learner attributes. So we aim to develop students who are reflective thinkers, innovative creators, actively engaged learners, confident individuals, and most importantly, responsible citizens. So when I talk about responsible citizens, each activity you'll see today is carefully designed to build these qualities. One of the most important attribute we focus is responsibility. Though we follow all of them, but responsibility is something that we really focus on, and that begins with our investiture ceremony where students from grade 4 onwards, um, they are taken, they are made up prefects, they are given leadership roles. We give them leadership roles to their, so that we can fulfill the how responsible citizens they can become. All right. So they grow into responsible individuals by managing duties, leading peers, and setting examples. Continuing this journey all the way up to grade 12. Then our school also follows a vibrant house system with 4 houses, that is Titans, Olympians, Legends, and Crusaders. Students take ownership within their houses. All right, and they participate in competitions, they develop teamwork and leadership skills. So what makes this special is every child gets an opportunity to take part in all the activities. So, we strongly believe in nurturing expression and creativity. So, through literary activities, if you see here, we have elocution, we have debates, and in performing arts, we have dance, singing, instruments, we have keyboards and guitar. And so, in performing arts, dance, music, instruments, live guitar, students gain confidence, they get stage presence and artistic expressions as well. Uh, Now we have, our school is actually approach is truly holistic. When we talk about holistic program, we have from grades 1 to 12 students participate in theme based assemblies that build awareness, confidence, and presentation skills as well. So events like annual day, if we talk about, they provide a grand platform for students to showcase their talents and in front of larger audience, and boosting their confidence and definitely celebrating their own growth. These are some activities that we have been doing in our schools. So they get the stage performance, they get to talk, their stage fright. Mostly parents have, they are always that, my child is not talking. So we give them those stage presence so that, the fear out of them can come out. Then we have physical development that we have. This is very, very important. So students can choose from a wide range of sports. Um, we have swimming, football, basketball, skating, cricket, and that is not only competitions that we have in school, but we have inter-school competition as well. So that they are building better sportsmanship, and when they compete with other people, other rather than giving only competitions in our schools, when we take them out, so they are more confident. They become more confident while they actually compete with the other students from other schools as well. Yes, so these are all the activities that we follow, and we don't want them only to learn but to thrive. And a very nice quote that we have from W.E. East is, education is not filling of a pail but lighting of a fire. So this is all we have for the activities, and I would now like to invite Miss Maria, our early years coordinator.
Good morning. So I would like to begin introducing our early years program, specifically early years 1 to early years 3. At this stage, we focus on building strong foundation, and not just academically, but also emotionally as well. We believe when children are happy, safe, the learning happens naturally. So our entire program is designed to make the learning meaningful through play and exploration. So why does early years matters? So at this is a very important phase in a child, for a child. During this time, they don't just develop rapidly, but also in terms of learning and confidence. We also encourage children to be independent. We focus on social and emotional growth. What makes Cambridge Early Years special? It is an international curriculum which focuses on overall development of the child. Here, we don't just focus on rote learning. Instead, we build skills like thinking, communication, and problem solving. So we have a role play picture there. And this also, in Cambridge Early Years, we also encourage children for smooth transition for primary grades as well. So our approach is based on key elements. We encourage children to explore, think, and express. Learning is not one way, but it's interactive, engaging, and child-centered as well. So play is very important part of our learning progress, because through play-based activities, children develop creativity, imagination, and problem-solving skills. At the same time, we create a supportive and stimulating environment for every child so the child feels safe and comfortable. So our teaching methods are designed to make learning enjoyable and effective. We use activities, storytelling, phonics, and interactive sessions to engage children. For example, when the child is engaged in role play, they not only understand the concept, but they also improve their communication skills. So as you can see, learning here is full of activities filled with fun. So children participate in hands-on experience like games, group activities, and creative tasks. This helps them learn better because here they are not just listening, but they are also actively participating. Our classroom environment is designed to be safe, child-friendly, and engaging. We have different corners that encourage exploration, whether it's reading or creative play. This allows children to learn in the way that suits their own interest. So we focus on these areas where we have the overall development, cognitive, language, physical, and social skills. We encourage that every child gets equal opportunities to grow and develop in their own areas. And we also conduct variety of activities indoor and outdoor. So these activities include physical activity, group play, outdoor learning experience. Such activities help children to stay active, build teamwork, and enjoy learning as well. So assessment. Our assessment is continuous and child-friendly, where we have continuous observations done. And also we maintain portfolios and focus on assessment for learning. This helps us understand each child's progress and we support them accordingly. We also have Check Together, which was earlier called as baseline. This is for EY2, age group of 4. And we strongly believe that parents are our partners in child's learning journey. So we ensure regular communication, timely updates, PTMs, and also parent engagement programs where parents join with our children and do activities with us here. So these are some pictures of our parent engagement program. So at the end of the day, our goal is very simple. We want our children to be happy learners, confident individuals, and to have a strong foundation for their future learning journey. So this is our early years curriculum split. If you can see, we have 20% of academics and 80% of co-curricular and arts. So here, while academics is important, we give more emphasis to activities and experiential learning because at this stage, children learn by doing, exploring, and experiencing. So this is all about early years. I would like to call upon our primary coordinator to take over the primary session. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Maria ma'am, for a detailed overview of early years. So, early years is a foundation, as we all know, and it is very important that they are nurtured and given the right kind of a foundation. Now, that has to move on to primary also. So, we ensure that children are given the right kind of a hand holding, nurturing into primary grades. So what we have for our grade 1 students is a support of an assistant teacher who remains with the children throughout the time, helping them to understand I, me, myself, my books, the little things which were done by their earlier teachers earlier. In grade 1, we help them during the transition and we help them in understanding what are the different subjects, how do they go about it. So it is definitely a transition from earlier to primary grades. So I'll just give a quick overview of how Cambridge Primary is designed in PNC Cognoshow for our primary students. So to start with, earlier there are different kinds of subjects and the names itself are very, very different. So they get into a formal kind of a teaching, learning background. So these are the subjects, which is English, Math, Science. They are called as the Cambridge subjects, and ICT is our computer science. Kannada is a mandatory language from starting from grade 1 and it goes on till grade 8. So since we are in Karnataka and our regional language is Kannada, we start from grade 1 and we ensure that that transition goes on till grade 8. So it's a mandatory subject. Apart from Kannada, we have Hindi and French, which are optional subjects. So the child either chooses Hindi or French at grade 1. So until EY3, they learn the other earlier subjects along with Hindi. But when they come to grade 1, they have a choice of Hindi and French. So Makerspace it's like a tinkering lab because this generation students really need a lot of activities and they really need to have hands-on for everything that they do and they understand. So Makerspace is one lab which more details will be given by our vice principal, and what are the projects and how do they go about it. More details will be given on that. So reading program is a very carefully designed program because children these days are more into device learning. They prefer device learning, but when it comes to book, they actually take a back seat. So we kind of help them. What to expect from a reading program, I will be explaining it in a while. Yes, children go to a beautiful, cozy library and they have a wide variety of books which they pick up and read. I will talk a little more about a subject called Global Perspectives. It is also a Cambridge subject like English, Math, and Science. Cambridge Global Perspectives is um, a subject which is not related to just I, me, myself. It gives a global overview of the current affairs, current issues. Because when we look at the certain issues right now, everybody and I'm sure even organizations are talking about climate change, sustainable living. So that this is a subject which focuses on that. And not only that, they actually have a beautifully designed curriculum where we deal with the important skills. So when ma'am said that Cambridge is the oldest curriculum, it is about 860 years old. So they have been practicing all the skills which we now call as 21st century skills. Cambridge has been practicing these skills from the very beginning, and it is very carefully curated in a subject called Global Perspectives. Not just as a subject, it is a seamlessly done subject which actually builds a very strong portfolio for students who are in their IGCSE and AS level also. So that this starts from as early as grade 1. And yes, about transition, as I said, when children come from early years, we really see them very tiny. They are very curious to learn things. They have a lot to talk. So we ensure that all that is taken care in grade 1 as a transition, because we need that there is a requirement for a hand holding to be given. So we have an assistant teacher in class who takes care of that. And by end of grade 1, we ensure that we have made them independent learners, and after that they are able to independently do their work on their own. So this is one key element which is in primary grade 1. And speaking about reading program, as I said, children these days, they prefer reading from devices. They are a little away from books because digital is something which is booming at the moment. So in PNC, it's very, very important to help them and give them the right values about reading, and importance of reading is something that is taken care in primary. So we have a dedicated time and a dedicated program which is again designed in one such way that we check what is the baseline, how did they come to us when they came to grade 1, what was their learning order, and we have different levels called as Lexile levels. We build on that. By the time they reach grade 2, what is their reading level, how has it changed? So if I can use the word, it's a happy addiction that we want towards reading. So that is something that you can see in our primary program, starting from grade 1 till grade 4. Apart from the reading program, we also have library sessions once a week. So they get more of a reading exposure. About formative assessments, children are learning every minute, every time. They're learning a lot of things, but it's very important for us and for the children also to see what is that ongoing learning that they are doing, and some kind of testing of the learning that they have had is very, very important. So we have something called as formative assessments. So formative assessments are basically a streamlined way to find or to find out what they have actually learned and how are we testing it. So it's a regular pattern which is followed right from grade 1 to grade 8. So LSRW. LSRW means listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So LSRW is there in early years also. Till grade 2, we ensure that these skills are enhanced so that they can actually get into a proper format of Cambridge learning and assessments, because Cambridge assessment is a different pattern altogether. There are more assessments called as checkpoints and board exams, which Hasiba ma'am and Pooja ma'am will be explaining. But how do we, till grade 2 is the right time to actually enhance these skills. So we ensure that these LSRW skills are enhanced in languages, that is Kannada, Hindi, French, and English. So the classroom is also designed, or the lesson plans are also done in one such way that these skills are tackled in class and not just for assessments. What's other things that you can see in primary? Children really need to know a lot of value skills. They really need to know how life is outside and how do they adapt themselves to the environment, current environment. Not forgetting our roots and how important it is to keep up with our past also. So we teach them little life skills, starting from organic farming, folding their clothes, the use of clean hands, sanitization, and a lot of other activities are done. One example is we had a dupe making activity wherein we used all the flowers which are used during these festival time, Dashara, Diwali. We got all that, instead of just throwing it off as trash. We got all of that, and we had a beautiful activity where we made dupe sticks in the classroom. So children were really very excited, and They took it home. Not just that, they could also explain how they did it. And in primary, we also had a organic farming which was done. So starting from knowing what is the soil, what are the different kinds of seeds, and how do we do compost, everything they have actually done it. And on the day when they actually took their be it dhania, palak, whatever, when they took it back, the happiness was at a different level. So they have started doing farming, organic farming at home. So these are the values we want our children to inculcate in everyday life. Speaking about our school ERP, we have a very well designed ERP. That is a platform where we share details about school. It's basically the partnership. So, whatever details have to be given to the parents regarding the academic progress or any kind of activities, events, so all that is actually taken care through our ERP. So that will be the primary mode of communication between parents and our teachers. You saw the early years curriculum split. This is our primary curriculum split. So when you compare it with EY to primary, it was 20% of academics and 80% of activities. But those activities are also a part of academics itself. In primary, you will see a shift because they get into a proper schooling, a professional schooling. So it is 60% of curriculum and 40% of co-curricular activities. With this, I would like to call Ms. Pooja, our lower secondary coordinator. Thank you.
Help me, Shana.
So, good morning, dear parents. I understand on a Saturday morning, sitting in a formal setting is a little difficult, but please bear with me. So, myself, Pooja Singh, and I will take you on a tour to our Cambridge Lower Secondary program that is between grades 5 to 8. So Cambridge Lower Secondary, basically when you would have heard about lower secondary, it caters to the students aged between 11 to 14. And here in PNCCS, it corresponds to grades 5 to 8. And the best part about our curriculum is it is very, very flexible. And when I say flexible, it is like it can be, we can use it in the local context. We can tweak it to the local context without hampering its international standards, without compromising with its international standards. And here in Cambridge Lower Secondary, it is a transition from Cambridge Primary, where we gradually prepare the students for the next stage of Cambridge Pathway, which is the IGCSE program, that is grades 9 and 10. Now, when I said that the program is very, very flexible and we can tweak it to local context, here in PNC, what we do is we design our scheme of work as well as our curriculum framework in such a way that it caters to the need of every single individual, all the learners, because in a classroom, you have different type of learners. It is not that everyone learns at the same pace. So we have designed our curriculum in such a way, our teachers during, they report 2 weeks before the school reopens for the other students. So in this entire 2 weeks, what the teachers do is they design the curriculum, the entire year's curriculum, and they also undergo rigorous induction program. And it is not just in the beginning of the year that they undergo these in the induction program. We also make sure that these are reinforced, these induction programs are reinforced, and fresh refreshers are provided to them during the year also. These are the subjects that we provide here in Cambridge Lower Secondary. So we have English as first language, mathematics, science, and all three are aligned with the Cambridge curriculum. Apart from that, we have music, physical education, Hindi and French, which is optional as second language. Children have to choose between Hindi and French. Then we have Kannada, which is mandatory for all the students till grade 8, starting from grade 1 to grade 8. It is mandatory for all. Apart from these subjects, we have ICT, we have global perspective. We also provide them with a plethora of activities. activity classes, like they have art class, they have music lab, they have music, theater, dance. Now talking about the assessments. Now assessments here in lower secondary is a little different from the other pathways which we have been speaking about, that is the early years and the primary. Here we have internal as well as external assessments. External assessment is an optional one, and the internal assessment, which is formative and summative, which is for whole school starting from grades 1 to grade 12. They have the formative assessments and the summatives. So these are internal exams where a child takes at least 3 formatives for every subject, and the best 2 is taken for their report card generation. Now these formatives, they are very balanced and they're very comprehensive for the students. Like how we conduct the formative assessments is, it depends upon the teacher. There is no fixed structure for it. Like me being an English teacher, I can conduct my formatives in different way, not necessarily that I have to conduct all of them as a pen and paper test. I can be conducting it like in my previous class, I went on evaluating the students for the entire month. I gave them a lot of projects. I gave them a lot of activities. I had an interview in the class. I had a debate. I had pick and speak. So there were a lot of activities which I conducted, and every day on daily basis, I was going on marking them to a total of 20. So that's how I conducted my formative for my subjects. Similarly, other subject teachers also conduct their formatives in different ways. Like a GP teacher, like the Cambridge attributes that we have been talking about, collaboration, teamwork. So in order to encourage that teamwork, in order to encourage that collaboration, we teachers do have those kind of activities also designed for the students, where they are able to collaborate, where they are able to present their teamwork. So we are very, very specific about how we are going to take. We are not very, very sorry. We are not very, very specific about how we are going to take our formative. It is upon the teacher how she wants to conduct her, because it is an ongoing assessment. We don't have any fixed structure to that. That I will be giving you a 20 marks pen and paper test, and you have to attempt that, and only then you will be marked. Like the French teachers, they had an expo for their subject, and on the basis of the performance of the student in that particular expo, they marked them. So similarly, every teacher has some other strategy. Language teachers basically mark as LSRW. So we have different strategies for marking in the formative. Summative is the traditional method of having that, like whatever was covered in the formative, everything comes in the summative assessment. Moving on to the external assist, which I spoke about, which is the checkpoint examination. So that's the reason why we have grades 5 also included in lower secondary, because generally we have, when I talk about middle school, it's 6 to 8, but here we corresponds to grades 5 and 8. So here what happens is we have the introduction of this externally assessed optional examination, which is the checkpoint. So these checkpoints are provided to the students in grade 5, and then they have in grade 8. These are proficiency tests, which test at how much is the child prepared for the next level of Cambridge, which is the IGCSE program. So it's a proficiency test. Apart from being a proficiency test, it is very, very important. Checkpoint exams, although optional, but we encourage the parents to take up these examinations, because your child is evaluated on a global stage. So you get a proper feedback by Cambridge. They evaluate the paper and they give you a proper feedback upon your child at what are the areas of improvement. And they also let you know that what is the strength of your child, what are the areas that your child needs to work on. So that's how it happens. And apart from that, Cambridge checkpoint, yes, even if a parent is looking forward for admissions in foreign universities, foreign colleges, these are value-added certificates. If the child is taking checkpoint examination, these are value-added for them. Yeah, and now one of my personal favorite, that is the hands-on activity. Although we have less in lower secondary, I will be showing you the graph which the other coordinators have been showing for their department. But yes, we have less, but let me tell you that some of the magical moments happens inside the classroom when the students roll up their sleeve and they are into learning by doing. So you can see the images of the hands-on activities, that how our children are engaged in different activities, and that's how our science labs buzzes with excitement when the students innovate, they try, they test, they fail, they retry, they learn resilience, they learn innovation. We also have our maths class. Mathematics is a subject which is yeah, I personally felt it very boring in my school time, but we try to make it interesting for the students by having more of problem solving skills, by building on their problem solving skills, giving them more of research based questions, and having more of real life scenarios, giving them more of real life scenarios so that they can relate with what they are learning. I also have an image of one of the brochures which is designed by our students, that is of Japan, where they had a beautiful comparison, drawing the similarities and the differences and the similarities of India as well as Japan. So they had drawn the similarities and the differences of the social, political, and the economic condition of India as well as Japan. So it was a beautiful exercise by them, where they learned by doing. Project Expo. One of the highlights of our Cambridge Lower Secondary department is our Project Expo. So in our Project Expo, like, see, when I spoke this particular word, Project Expo, the first thing that is coming to your mind is the children would be exhibiting a lot of science projects. And that's what the feedback I had got from the parents also after they had visited the expo. After visiting the expo, they had come up to me, they had come to me with the feedback that, ma'am, when my child came to me and he told that I have a Project Expo, what kind of project should I be exhibiting? So I had given them the idea that go with a science project, go with physics, chemistry. These are the type of projects we generally tell them that you can go with a science project. But here our children had made beautiful projects in other subjects like languages. I cannot think of a working model in Kannada. I cannot think of a working model in French, in Hindi, but our children had thought of. And it was definitely a beautiful collaboration, I would say, of creativity and hard work. The type of projects presented by the students, the models presented by them, the research put forward by them was truly a treat to the eye. Not just with the sparkle, with the confidence in their, with the confidence and with the sparkle in their eye, which they were explaining these projects. It was not just a delight for the teachers, it was also for the parents. So it was a beautiful experience for all of them, a beautiful learning for all of them. Then talking about our field trips and outbound learning, when I talk so much about academics, now what do we do in order to have some recreation for the students? So these are the programs that we have here in PNC: field trips and outbound learning. We also had field trips back then in our school days, where we used to be taken to different places for education. These were educational tours in short, where we used to go for a lot of educational values. But here we have started with outbound learning. Even I was not acquainted with this particular term. I got it acquainted only when Mini ma'am had joined here and she had introduced the outbound learning. So these outbound learning are also meant for educational purpose, but these are not like the field trips. We finish it within the school hours. But when it is an outbound learning, these are for longer period of time. Like a high school students, they also go for overnight stay. But for lower secondary, we make sure that the children are back by 7 or 8, max to max by 8 o'clock in the evening. So these are the ones which are meant not only for educational purpose, but apart from educational purpose, we also make sure that when a child is going for outbound learning, there has to be a lot of collaboration. There has to be teamwork. There are a lot of team activities designed for them, which helps them learn team spirit. Because these days in children, what I experience in my lower secondary is they are all in a very close knit groups. They don't like to mingle with other children. If I have two friends, I will be mingling only with them. So these outbound learnings gives them a chance to participate in those activities, mingle with other students, and then they learn the true team spirit, what we talk about. Yeah, so as I was talking about the Project Expo and about the field trip and the OBL, so I have some of the images here. You can see some beautiful prepared by our students, the working models, and they had the escape room there for mathematics. You can see that the other image, that is of the projection room. We had taken our children for one of the movies, and the highlight of the movie was that after watching the movie, they were also taken for a tour to the projection room. So they got to know that how the movies are projected. So we make sure that wherever we are taking them for recreation purpose, there is some or the other added benefits out of it. There is some learning out of whatever they are going for. I also have an image of Janpad Loka, where we had taken our children for the field trip. And Janpad Loka, if you have been to, you know that it is quite a beautiful place which helps the children to learn about the cultural heritage of Karnataka. So they have all the traditional equipments and everything displayed there. And it helps them really well in order to learn about the cultural history of Karnataka. We had also taken them to Mysore Palace, where they learned about the cultural heritage of Mysore, about the kings there, the one who ruled there. Yeah, so yes, of course, Usha ma'am had been mentioning about the reading program, which is there in grades 1 to 4. Now transitioning to grades 5 to 8, being in a Cambridge curriculum, we understand the importance that reading plays in this particular curriculum. Children have to read, they need to work on their vocabulary, because there are a lot of critical thinking questions. It is not about rote learning. If you see the textbook, there is nothing about rote learning. Some of the concepts you will not even understand as a parent, I have a lot of parents who have come to me telling that I don't understand the textbooks of English, I don't understand the textbooks of maths. So it is not at all about rote learning. It is all about how the child interprets what he learns. How is he going to present? So we are more into enhancing their critical thinking, into enhancing their analytical thinking. So that's the reason we have to work on their vocabulary, we have to work on their language. So there are a lot of initiatives that we have also taken here in our lower secondary. One is our Dear Time, which is Drop Everything and Read, quite an interesting program, where what we do is every Friday, for the first 20 minutes, if you visit our classrooms, what you will see is that all the students, along with their teachers, are fully dedicated in reading a book. They are solely engrossed in a novel that they are all reading. So that's how Dear Time is conducted every Friday for 20 minutes. Every single student, along with the teacher, reads, dedicates their time only and only to reading. So that's the reason it is named as Drop Everything and Read. Leave all your work and you have to focus only and only on reading. We also have the daily lexicon program. So the daily lexicon program, where we English teachers, we work together in the beginning of the year, and what we do is that in a sheet we fill a lot of words which on daily basis, like word of the day. It is more like a word of the day which is given to the children inside the classroom. Now what is the twist here with the word of the day is we all learn word of the day in the English, but when a Hindi teacher walks into your class, or the French teacher walks into your class, or the Kannada teacher walks into the class, what she does is she gives the meaning of that particular word in her subject also. In what is that particular word called in Hindi, what is it called in French, what is it called in Kannada. So it is not just enhancing their vocabulary in English, it is also enhancing their vocabulary in other subjects. Times NIE, you might have heard of the Times NIE, that is newspaper in education, a very informative newspaper meant solely for the children, for children aged between, here in PNC we give these newspapers starting from grade 4 to grade 8, and it's quite very filtered and very clean newspaper which does not have any kind of uncensored or age inappropriate news in it. It is truly meant for educational purpose. So we do give this particular newspaper to the children. And empathy and leadership, yes, we start, although leadership starts more in the high school, but we start training the children for that as early as in grade 8. So I'll show you some of the images of whatever I have spoken about, like the leadership I had been speaking about, that how we encourage leadership in the children. So these are the first two images are of our students who had gone for the GP. It's a part of their GP project where they had visited one of the old age homes, and I personally was a part of that particular project. I had also gone, accompanied the students, and the way they were connecting with the residents of the old age, the way they were emotionally connecting with them, trying to understand their pain, and the compassionate answers that they were giving, they were being so empathetic to their pain. And they came back, and within 2 days they had collected a plethora of donation for all of them. They first went and they collected a list of all the things that they require, and then they came back here in school. They raised a circular, they met Mini Ma'am, they got the approval, and then they raised a circular to all the parents informing them that they are going to start this particular drive, and they collected a lot of stuff, and which was later on given to them. And the happiness they had, they also had a lot of activities arranged for those people, artwork, dance, and there was also a musical performance. The third image is of Dear Time, as I had spoken about, that this is how our students are all into reading every Friday. The fourth image is of QCT. So we have something very interesting in our school which is called as the Quality Circle Time. Now in a class there we have all type of students. We have introverts, we have extroverts. Not all open up and not all speak their hearts out, right? So this QCT program is a beautiful program where every child gets an opportunity. What happens is they all sit in a circle along with their teacher, and they have a certain theme on which they talk about. Maybe bullying. For one of the QCT session, maybe the theme can be bullying. The child can be talking about, can open up, can tell that what were the instances where he was bullied, or he had felt bullied, or he has seen someone getting bullied. And it is not just about talking about their problem. They also come up with certain solutions for it. So children become very sensitive to each other's need when they have these kind of programs called as QCT. Then yes, we also send our children for a lot of inter-school events. These images, the next image of the photography and the last image, these are of the inter-school competitions where our children had gone and they have won accolades for their school, laurels for their school. They were given the best entertaining band award in one of the inter-school competitions that they had gone. And apart from, I cannot fix all the images here, but yes, if you go through our school magazine or when you go to our through our newsletters, you can see a lot of pictures of our students who have represented themselves in a lot of inter-school events. Yes, the next one, that is my personal favorite. Now, you can see that approx 40 to 50 students of ours had published their own books. And initially it was in lower secondary, it started in lower secondary, later on it was in primary, and now we have students in early years also publishing their books. So it's, as a teacher, it's a proud moment for all of us, moment for all of us. Yeah, this is one of the books of our early year kid. So like this, we have approx 40 to 50 students who have published their books. This is about the Times NIE that I was talking about. Our children are not just reading the Times NIE newspaper, but we were also given an opportunity to publish our own newspaper by Times NIE. So this particular edition, special guest edition, was the one where the entire content of the Times NIE newspaper was by the children of our school. So it's quite a proud moment for all of us. The next image you can see, she is Miss Melody. She's the chief editor and director of Times NIE. So she had visited our school. Times NIE had undergone some changes in its edition, and they wanted feedback from the students, their regular readers, that whether the previous edition was good or the new edition is good. So we had few of our students from grade 7 who had come, and they had given their feedback upon the newspaper. And the way they were giving the feedback, trust me, I was just amazed to know that these children have observed the newspaper so carefully. So it means that they are not just reading it, they are deeply analyzing it. That's the reason they had such detailed feedback, because we did not inform them beforehand that you have to give any such feedback. They just visited, and I randomly went and I picked few students from the class and I brought them here to give the feedback, and beautifully they were giving their feedback. How beautifully they had evaluated that particular newspaper. I was really impressed by that. And yeah, that's how our Cambridge Lower Secondary is, and this is the split. You can see the ratio shrinking as you move towards high school. So we have 70% of academics and 30% of co-curricular activities. Okay, so thank you, parents. And now I would like to invite Ms. Hasiba, our Vice Principal and IGCSE ASN A-Level Coordinator. Thank you.
So, good morning, parents, our guests, and our teachers. So, I'll be dealing with IGCSE and AS level curriculum. So, which is the most transformative foundation years, I would say. So, I'll just tell you the full form of what is IGCSE. It is basically International General Certificate for Secondary Education. So, basically, it's your grades 9 and 10. And AS level is Advanced Subsidiary, and which is your grade 11, and advanced level, which is your grade 12. So I know you have gone through the early years, the primary, the lower secondary. So you have seen that there is a good amount of skill development happening. Now we have to do it now it is a paper pen, so it's more of board exam related. So before going to IGCSE, we have one certificate which is called as Cambridge I certificate, which is called as International General Certificate, International Certificate of Education. So this is a value-added certificate, as Pooja mentioned. When you have a checkpoint, you also have that value-added certificate. This is for IGCSE, that is for grade 9 and 10. So to have this certificate, we need to follow certain criteria. So there are certain groups which the students have to take certain number of subjects, and then they have to write their board exams. So again, it's a value added, because when you go for your university admissions, they look into, okay, your child has taken Cambridge I certificates. That tells that your child has explored in all fields of education, which helps the child to narrow down their subject selection in your 11th and 12th. So the 5 groups, actually Cambridge offers 70 plus subjects, but we can offer certain subjects, and based on the subjects PNCC offer, we have grouped them into 5 groups. So there are 5 groups. One is languages, where 2 languages are mandatory. Either you can, and English is mandatory. You can either select Hindi or French. Then in group 2, humanities and social sciences, we have economics, environmental management, and Cambridge global perspectives. I think Usha ma'am have given you a brief idea about global perspectives. So a little further level where they have to submit their IR, their report, their team projects. And we have the group 3 sciences, which is the normal biochemistry, physics. And we have a overlap of EVM because it's for those students who are taking commerce can take EVM so that they are included in that science group. And we have mathematics, group 4. Group 5, we have professional and creative. Under that, we are offering accounting, art and design, business studies, ICT, which is the information and communication technology, computer science, and then Cambridge global perspective. Again, you can see there is an overlap of these 2 subjects just to make sure the students who are coming from science background or humanities background, they fill into all these criteria. So I'll just take you through the subjects that PNCC offers. So you can see we have first language English, which is mandatory. The numbers given in the bracket is the subject code. Then we have mathematics, and then we have Hindi or French, and we have physics or accounts, chemistry or economics, bio or business studies. Then we have ICT or computer science or art and design. So you can see here, the child has to take 8 subjects and there is an option. So if your child wants to move to commerce field or to science field, we are not restricting that. They can have a mix of that, because nowadays we have so much of opportunities where there is physics with business studies, physics with economics. So we are open to it. So this is how the structure is for what we offer. So it's a broad structure so that the children will learn all concepts in different fields so that they can decide what they have to do it in ASA level. Next, that is about the grades 9 and 10, which I just showed you about. Now, it is about the grades 11 and 12. These are the subjects we offer. Again, English general paper is mandatory. We have physics or accounts. We have introduced a new subject, which is psychology. So chemistry, economics and psychology, biology or business studies, computer science or art and design. Now, for ASA level certificate, it is not mandatory. You have to take all these 6 subjects. For ASA level certificate, just 4 subjects is required. But now the current situation is, now some children are moving into Indian curriculum. So Indian universities. Some colleges ask for 5 subjects. So we give them the freedom, okay, you can take 1 more additional subject. And the very common doubt which parents have is our curriculum being recognized or accredited in many universities. It is recognized by IITs, very prestigious universities, even our private institutions, state institutions, globally also, definitely globally, abroad, as well as in India, it is recognized. It is there in the website also, which are the universities recognized. But we have students who is studying in Indian colleges as well as abroad. So I'll be telling you which other colleges our students have been placed. So basically this curriculum is in depth. So in other curriculums, it's the breadth we will be studying in IGCSE, but we will be studying in depth about the curriculum or about the concept. So as you know, Cambridge curriculum is more of real life applications. So you learn the concepts. It is not that you just have to write the answers. It is that you have to analyze a case study, okay, why it is happening. You are developing, the child is developing their critical thinking. Okay, why it is happening, why not? So they have that questioning skills as well. So all these, from early years, we are making them developing, and they will face these kind of questions in their board exams. Now, we have our results, which is in this current year. We have our students who have secured grades A star and A. So I'll just tell you what is A star. A star is a very prestigious grade. It is awarded to the students for the top 2 to 5 percentile of the students who is writing the exam. So it is really difficult to get an A star and A grades. So these are our students who have got in the first image, you can see it is our IGCSE students, and the second image is our AS A-level students. So they have all got A star and A in different subjects. Next, we not only talk about results, we celebrate their results. So we do have an academic excellence award where we give our chairman's scholarship awards. So these are all the awardee winners who have scored grade A stars and A grades. Then about the achievements, it is not only the board exams, we have also globally and nationally recognized. So we have also got top India in IGCSE first language English, and we have also secured ASA level computer science, again top in India. Then we have got a best across 3, which means the child has continuously performed in all the subjects, and he has gotten a global, national award from Cambridge. These are the awards from Cambridge. And then we not only look into the board exams, we also have students who have done well in other activities like Rubik's Cube. We have one student who have participated in Indian astronomy competition. He's one of our volunteers in this society, and he will be taking workshops for our students. And we have our students, they are very good in their entrepreneurship skills. So they have won certain projects. You can see them in the fifth, they are holding a trophy where they have won a competition like Dive in the Tank, where they have talked about the solar, the rain harvesting. So which was really impressed. They have put forward to this idea, and then they have won first place. It was an inter-school competition. And we have winners in, we promote art, innovation, creative, not only apart from studies, but whatever they have learned, as Pooja mentioned about the Makerspace Lab in lower secondary, when they design a project, they have to implement it. So that they go out, they do it, and they have won many awards in inter-school competitions. I would like to quote one of the competition, which it is very impressive. It's that the child was given a list of components, maybe 5 components, and they have asked to create a rocket launcher. But they said there'll be a surprise element, which you have to include it, and you have to develop that project, which is very difficult for our lower secondary and higher secondary. Immediately they cannot catch it up. But it was so nice, they got that surprise element, they have incorporated into their project, and they have done beautifully, and actually they won first place in that rocket launcher. So it was really impressive. That shows that whatever they have learned, they have applied in their project. It's not that the teachers have guided them, because teachers were not allowed for that competition. So these are the results of developing the skill along with your academics. Then we conduct a lot of events apart from academics. So you can see, as ma'am said about the outbound learning, we take them for a one-day trip. And we have a Shark Tank, our in-house Shark Tank, where our children had presented their business projects. So, and we have our graduation day for our A levels. Then we have special assemblies. We take them for the month. That is called as Model United Nations. You must have been heard, because the children needs to know about what is happening in our world. So nowadays we know the current scenario. So they are appointed as a delegate or a country representative, and they have to talk about that country in that particular forum. There are different groups for that. Okay, like in UN, this is actually the setup. It's a model setup for our UN meetings. So actually it develops the children to know more, not only about the academics, what is happening around, how can they critically think and find solutions. That is the whole program about MUN. You can see our children with gloves and masks. They are doing some soil testing for our environmental management activity. You can see two of our art students are creating a 3D model, and it was an impromptu. They were given the metals. They were asked to form a model for Astroform, some creature in your other parallel universe. So that is what they are creating there. Then we have our clubs, our student initiative, where they have brought clubs like literary clubs, dance club, environmental clubs. So this is all run by the students. So we are promoting them the leadership qualities as well, along with the investiture ceremony, which our seat coordinator have discussed. Then you can see a lot of people talking to our group of children. It is nothing but it's a career counseling. So definitely, once the academics start, they need to think about more about their career. So this starts from grades 9 to 12. So we start at the early stage of grade 9. at least let them explore what are the different opportunities available in market. What are the subjects they should choose in grades 11 and 12? So I will deal in the next slide. I will tell you how they are doing about it. So we normally have, yeah, our dear parents will normally volunteer and they come and give beautiful guest lectures about their fields of expertise. So we always welcome them, and they can impart their knowledge to the students, how you can go or guide them from after 12th. What are the courses you can take so that you can move forward for this particular chances. And we have also our student initiative, one of the student initiative, which I really I wanted to discuss here. She had brought up from grade 8. They have given the chance for the students to explore different variety of careers and discuss in the class. So when we have the 15 minutes, we make them, okay, talk about some career which you found it so interesting. And it was so beautifully done. They have spoken about, and nowadays children are very, they look old, not only the career, the money part, everything. So they are looking, and they have done a beautiful analysis. Okay, once you do this from this college, this degree, you can earn, or you will be placed in very prestigious companies. So that is about the career counseling we do. So since I'm talking about career counseling, we are also tied up with a third party, which is called as Mindler. They are one of the best career counseling. So what they do is they do a psychometric test for the grade 9 and 10 students, so that not for only for grade 9 and 10, throughout from grade 9 to 12, so that they give a report on what are their interests. Okay, whether it is in this field or in engineering field or science field or in any specific field. So all this while in our generation it was only engineering or medicine, but now there are n number of opportunities out. So they will guide you where to apply which courses and what are the what do you say, the skills you should develop. Because when you apply for universities, it's not only about your academics, they also tell you about how to build your portfolio. So for build the portfolio, these are the activities which all the coordinators spoke about: the community drive, the charity drive, volunteering, your adventure skills, what the skill you have learned on your own, or how did you impart those skills. So all this is very important in your profile building, because nowadays colleges look into your portfolio as well. So they have deep insights, which university, which course and all that. Mindler will let you know. We have an online platform, so they will guide you how to go about it, and all modules are available. Then, yes, I'm very proud to present that our students have placed in international and national universities. You can see we have our students in University of Hong Kong, LSE, Waterloo, Chicago, Toronto. So we have students abroad, as well as we have students placed in national colleges. You can clearly see they are in VIT, PSG. They are very famous colleges. OP Jindal, this one, Manipal Institute, MS Ramaiah, one of our students who had done internship. She had gone there, and she's also a part of a organization where two of our students have business entrepreneurship, where it's named Dara. So they have started from 11th grade, that they started building up of the climate change, environmental initiatives. So they are building it. They started building their portfolio from grade 11, and they are proud owners of a company. So I'm very proud to tell that. And then, yes, as you have seen from early years to here, you can see it was in early years, it was 80%. Now you can see 80% of academics and 20% of a extracurricular. So just want to tell you about the educational progression. From early years, it was 20% of academics, but more of skill development. But slowly you can see our education progression will increase. So it becomes to 80%. So that is how we have planned our curriculum, Cambridge curriculum in our school. Yes, so I'm done with my ASA level. Now it's up to parents. If you have any questions, we are happy to answer.
So yes, thank you, Hasiba.
Thank you.
I think the fact that, and I can see that some parents have been with us since morning 10 o'clock, right? And thank you very much for being so patient, listener. But I don't think I could have done justice going in depth with every single department, how beautifully each one of them have given insight into various programs, various initiatives, the philosophy behind each of the curriculum and the activities which happen. We are now open to any questions that you might have.
I see that primary education, what they focus on is listening, speaking, and reading writing. It's not very specific. It's very specific to the teacher on how she wanted to create the examinations. So how often the teacher changes so that that creates impact for the kids, or does the teacher stay for pretty long, at least during the same year, so that they get good understanding about the subject rather than having a confusion where there's a lot of shifting.
Well, I think you are asking about the very bitter fact of life, which is about the, I think we can, for the online session, we are done. For the online audience, we are done. And in spite, over and above this, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our admission counselors. And thank you very much for joining us. All right, so